As she approached his bedroom, she heard faint whispers and soft laughter. Pushing the door open, she was greeted by the sights that shattered her world. Long ago, in a land surrounded by vast forests and rolling hills, there lived a prosperous merchant named Nkem. Despite his wealth and success, Nkem was burdened with a deep sorrow. He had no child to carry on his legacy. Desperate for an heir, Nkem traveled to his ancestral village, hoping to find a bride who could bear him a child. Upon arriving in the village, Nkem was welcomed by the villagers, who admired his success and generosity. Among the villagers, he noticed Adora, a maiden known for her beauty and kindness. She lived a humble life, caring for her ailing mother and working diligently on their small farm. Nkem was captivated by her and decided she would be his bride. Nkem approached Adora's mother, seeking her blessings to marry Adora. The old woman, knowing of Nkem's wealth, agreed on the condition that Nkem would take Adora with him to the city. Nkem agreed, though reluctantly, and prepared to take Adora back to his house. Adora, though sad to leave her mother and village, trusted Nkem and looked forward to their new life together. She had no idea of the kind of things she would encounter in her marriage. As they traveled to the city, Nkem was filled with mixed emotions. He was drawn to Adora's purity and innocence, yet he carried a secret that made him hesitant to fully embrace their union. Upon reaching the city, Nkem arranged for Adora to stay in a separate room in his grand house. He told her he needed time to adjust to being married, but in truth, he was struggling with his hidden desires. Adora, though confused, trusted Nkem and hoped that they would grow closer with time. As the days turned into weeks, Adora found herself increasingly isolated. Nkem was often away on business, leaving her alone in the big house. Despite his distant behavior, Adora remained patient, believing that love and understanding would eventually bridge the gap between them. Adora spent her time learning new skills and making friends with the servants. She missed her mother and village, but she remained hopeful that Nkem would eventually open up to her. She prayed for strength and guidance, hoping that their love would blossom with time. As time went on, Nkem realized that the whole purpose of getting married to Adora was not being achieved. So one night, he decided to visit Adora's room, determined to overcome his fears and fulfill his duty as a husband. They managed to share a tender moment, and for the first time, Nkem felt a glimmer of hope that he could conquer his inner turmoil. Their bond grew stronger, and soon Adora was with a child. Adora was overjoyed at the news of her pregnancy. She felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope for their future. Nkem too was very happy, though his happiness was tinged with fear and uncertainty. He vowed to be a good husband and father, despite his inner struggles. As Adora's pregnancy progressed, Nkem began to withdraw again. He became very absent and began to go on his business trips more often. The weight of his secret desires pressed heavily on him. He found solace in the company of other men, hiding his true feelings from Adora and the rest of the world. Adora, sensing something was wrong, prayed for strength and guidance. The more business trips Nkem took, the more apart he grew from Adora, who had grown to love him so much. In due time, Adora gave birth to a healthy baby boy, bringing joy and hope to their household. Nkem was overjoyed and proud of his son, but his happiness was short-lived. The pull of his hidden desires grew stronger, and he spent more time away from home, seeking comfort elsewhere. Adora was a devoted mother, showering her son with love and care. She hoped that the birth of their child would bring Nkem closer to her, but she soon realized that his absence was even becoming more frequent. She tried to remain strong for the sake of their son, but her heart was heavy with worry. One evening, Nkem brought a man into their home, introducing him as a business partner. He told Adora that he would be staying for a while, given the fact that he didn't have a place to stay around the city. Adora welcomed the guest with hospitality, unaware of the true nature of their relationship. Adora noticed that the man's presence made Nkem more happy, and he even began to stay at home more often. She grew scared and suspicious, but she could not just place the origin of her fears. Adora's instincts told her that something was amiss. She watched the interactions between Nkem and his guests, noting the subtle glances and touches that spoke of a deeper connection. She decided to investigate further, determined to uncover the truth. Driven by her growing unease, Adora decided to uncover the truth. One night, she quietly entered the house, her heart pounding with a mix of anger and sorrow. As she approached his bedroom, she heard faint whispers and soft laughter. Pushing the door open, she was greeted by the sights that shattered her world. There lay Nkem with his guest, locked in an intimate embrace. Adora stood frozen, unable to comprehend the depth of the betrayal before her eyes. Nkem's eyes widened in shock, realizing that he had just been caught in his deceit. Ada was confused, but then she began to connect the dots and it all made sense. She now understood the reason for Nkem's frequent business trips and his absence from home. She felt a mix of emotions: shock, anger, and sorrow. She couldn't believe that the man she loved had deceived her so deeply. She confronted Nkem, her voice trembling with rage and hurt. Nkem, unable to deny the truth any longer, confessed his hidden desires and the struggle he had faced for years. Adora's world shattered as Nkem's confession sank in. She felt betrayed and humiliated, but she also saw the pain in Nkem's eyes. He pleaded for her forgiveness, explaining that he had tried to suppress his desires but had ultimately failed. Adora, though heartbroken, felt a glimmer of compassion for the man she once loved. Nkem's confession was a turning point for both of them. Adora realized that their marriage had been built on a foundation of lies, and she struggled with the decision to leave or stay. She sought solace in her faith, praying for guidance and strength to make the right decision, as she could not even talk about this with anybody. She decided to confront Nkem and seek a solution. They both agreed to go for therapy and seek spiritual guidance, hoping to save their marriage. The therapy sessions were difficult for Adora and Nkem. They delved into deep-rooted issues and confronted uncomfortable truths. Adora tried to understand Nkem's struggles, but her trust was shattered. Nkem promised to change and beg for forgiveness, but Adora's heart was hardened. In addition to therapy, Adora and Nkem sought spiritual guidance. They visited various religious leaders and participated in prayer sessions. Adora hoped that God would intervene and heal their marriage, but doubt, of course, lingered in her heart. Despite their efforts, Adora's worst fears were realized when she caught Nkem again with another man. The shock and pain was unbearable. She realized that no amount of therapy or prayers could change Nkem's true nature. With a heavy heart, Adora made a difficult decision to end their marriage. She quietly filed for divorce, determined to move on with her life. She focused on co-parenting their child and rebuilding her life. Nkem was devastated by her decision, but understood the consequences of his actions. He vowed to change and sought help for his struggles. Months later, Obinna, her son, was rushed to the hospital because of an unknown illness. Despite their efforts and prayers, the child passed away, leaving Adora devastated. Frustrated and grief-stricken, Adora blamed Emeka for their child's death. She felt betrayed not only by his secret life, but also by the loss of their child. In her grief, Adora cursed the day she ever got married to Nkem, believing that his actions had brought nothing but pain and sorrows into their lives. After years of grieving, Adora found peace in her new life. She honored the memory of her child by living fully and embracing each day with gratitude. Nkem, on the other hand, lived a very frustrated life full of regrets. Not only had he lost his marriage, but he had also lost his son. Adora's journey taught her the power of forgiveness and the importance of letting go of anger and resentment. She learned to appreciate the beauty of life's fleeting moments and to hold on to love, even in the face of loss. Adora's journey was far from over, but she faced the future with renewed hope and determination. She knew that life would always be filled with challenges and heartbreak, but she also knew that love would always be there, guiding her path and lighting her way. As Adora moved forward with her life, she carried the memory of her child in her heart, forever changed by the silent betrayal that tore her family apart. Adora's story was one of resilience, of overcoming the darkest of days and emerging into the light. She had learned that true strength came from within, from facing her fears and embracing her truths. As she looked back on her past, Adora knew that she was a survivor, a woman who had weathered the storm and emerged stronger than ever before.